we've got a number of speakers lined up. One of them is George Naylor, a real extra Iowa farmer and an advocate for the planet and the soil, and he's a great guy. Listen to his message.
Hi. Yeah, I'm George Naylor. I've been farming for 38 years on my family farm. Sorry.
Eat the mic.
Okay, good. Yeah, I farm in Greene County near Sheridan. I've been farming for 38 years on the family farm. I chose not to raise genetically modified crops, and I believe in most cases I can meet most of the yields, especially in corn. Sometimes my weed control in beans is problematic, just like an organic farmer might tell you too. But you have to think about what's good for the planet. Many years ago, I planted almost nothing but Pioneer seed corn, and I planted Asgrow soybeans, which is a Monsanto company now. But when they brought out genetically modified crops, they took all of the non-GMO varieties off the market. So you can understand why farmers basically felt like they had no choice but to raise genetically modified crops, and that's the story of monopoly for you. Now, I'm going to use a four-letter word to describe the world food price, and that's scam.
Yeah.
It's really just an infomercial for these big companies and their products that have been patented. And I've got another word for you. It's a 10-letter word. Corruption.
Yeah.
This is what this represents, is corruption. It's no different than Koch brothers advertising on TV. It's the same kind of corruption, and it floats around the world just like their genetically modified pollen. So will we ever be able to bring it back? That's the question. Like that info commercial, or like a drug dealer, they know that you will get a short-term high. Farmers have been able to deal with weeds right along, but they also know that there's going to be a long-term addiction, which means huge profits for them. Now, they don't seem to worry about the biodiversity that's being destroyed. They don't worry about that sometime down the road we're looking at farming without farmers. No, corporations will be doing the farming, just like most corporations are raising, or like a few corporations are raising most of the livestock in this country right now. And you have to ask why Henry Wallace isn't being honored here tonight. After all, he was a pioneer in the application of statistical methods in plant breeding. His family was instrumental in George Washington Carver attending Iowa State University. He succeeded in founding the Pioneer Hybrid International, the big company that's represented here now, Research Institute in Mexico, where Norman Borlaug did his research. So why isn't Henry Wallace being honored? Well, I'll tell you, because Henry Wallace's policy as Secretary of Agriculture laid the ground for sustainable policy in this country, which meant that farmers could get a fair price for their product at the same time that we had abundance of food. We didn't have to worry about food shortages because he created reserves. At the same time, we could conserve our land, conserve our biodiversity by avoiding wasteful overproduction. So what really we see here is McCarthyism live and well. And if you think the food prize, this world food prize, represents life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, you've got another guest another thing coming. It represents a straitjacket for farmers and an eternity of silent spring for our children and grandchildren.
Thanks, Jim.
I apologize for that. I had an interruption my signal.